Hello lovely people, how are you all doing today? I hope you're doing better than me. I've woken up today feeling, grotty, head to toe. I ache, I haven't an ounce of energy, I feel utterly exhausted and my throat is a bit... not saying that for sympathy, just to explain because I'm going to do some cooking. I think I'm getting my first cold of the year. I thought I was getting one a couple of weeks ago because it felt scratchy, didn't come to anything. And frankly, I'm amazed. If this is my first cold of the year, I'm amazed because normally I would have one in the spring and one in the autumn. Last spring, all the stress of the move before it was happening, didn't get a cold. Yay! Anyway, I think that's a sign that, I'm a bit healthier these days. So the temptation, I think, and we've all been there, we've all done it, I think the temptation when we feel grotty is to, it's reach for the convenience stuff, isn't it? So the pre-prepared meals, the pre-packaged stuff, someone's made it somewhere else and all we have to do is open a packet and put it into our faces. I get it, the lure of junk when one feels grotty. Right now, I would love nothing more than to be lying on the sofa, under a blanket, eating ginger nut biscuits, love them, or stroop waffles, the caramel waffles. God, I love those. Or a whole plate of madeleines, followed by some ice cream, followed by a packet of salt and vinegar crisps. That's all the junk. I love it all, but I don't have it. Anyway, that's the temptation, but actually, when we feel like this, our bodies need something really good inside. So I'm going to make a hot salad. Think of it as a salad. Now, I did make this before, but it got lost because it was in amongst another video, and I keep being asked about it, so I thought I'll do it today as a standalone video. Also because of lots of new subscribers, but also because I can make this largely from my garden. Now there are 4 main ingredients, ignoring the salad dressing, 4 main ingredients, 2 of which store cupboard, most of you will have them, and then the 2 fresh ingredients, because they're a bit mix and match, you probably have something that you can use in your fridge. So this is a great one. So on a Friday evening, you come home from work or you've finished your working week, you're a bit pooped and you think, what can I eat, what can I eat? Have a little look in the fridge. What leftover greens have you got? Because part of this is greens. And have you got some leftover tomatoes? The other 2 you should have in your store cupboard. Away you go. Right, so I'll show you the ingredients first. And also just to say, this really is an incredibly simple recipe. The main thing with it is it's just the timings, because I'll be using my steamer, my stacking steamer today. So the main thing, like I said, with it is it's to do with timings, adding things, adding a layer on the steamer, adding a layer. But it's great, it's a 1 hob pot, as it were. So you're only going to use 1 ring on the stove. Yay! Right, let's look at these gorgeous ingredients. And I'm so excited because 3 of the 4 are from my garden. Finally! Beautiful ingredients. Oh my goodness. And they're simple. They're such simple ingredients. So we have got, look, ignore the celery at the back. That's for different cooking. We're just on here. So we've got 100 grams of green lentils. And then this is the equivalent of a tin of beans. This is my coco de pampole from the garden. They look a little bit wrinkly and funny. That's because after I picked them, I picked quite a few and I just got them frozen straight away because I wasn't sure when I'd be eating them or cooking with them. So straight into the freezer. They've defrosted in the fridge overnight. So yeah, like I said, it's the equivalent of a tin of beans. Just to demonstrate. So in the past I've made it with haricot. A small white bean is lovely for this recipe. So haricot beans, or I didn't find any that were organic, but the other alternative is cannellini beans. So these cartons that Sainsbury's do, they look really small, but actually it's about the equivalent of, it's the same as a tin can. So don't think, oh my goodness, it's tiny, there's nothing there. So yeah, the equivalent of a tin of beans, store cupboard, great, unless you've got a garden or an allotment, in which case, by this time of year, any of you with allotments and small holdings, you will probably be eating pretty much 90% of what you eat at the moment is probably from your garden. Brilliant. Then I've got a handful of tomatoes. Oh, how many? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 tomatoes there. It's not an exact science. I'm kind of thinking in terms of, you know, a scoopful. You might have 2 really big tomatoes. Again, fine. And then for my greens, excuse me, and this is what I mean about it's you can interchange. So I've picked some of my chard. You can make this with kale, you can make this with spinach. Until now I've been making it with spinach because I'm, you know, buying it. So yeah, whatever greens you fancy. We want about 100 grams. I need to clear my throat, sorry. Yeah, I do think I'm getting something. You want about 100 grams. Now that looks like more than 100 grams, but I'm not going to be putting the stalks, the tougher bits in. They're going to be chopped off. Don't worry, I'll be keeping them. They'll be chopped up and whacked in the freezer to add to a longer, slower cook at some time in the winter, a beanie stew. This is quite a quick cook, so we want the slightly more tender leaves. And then for the dressing, I've got my, today I'm going to use the lovely oil from Kate, some lemon juice. I don't have a fresh lemon in, fine, I'll use lemon juice. 3 cloves of garlic, really, really good for my cold. And then I might even put in, you don't have to, but you can put in a pinch of chili flakes. So also across this meal, I'm getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm getting 7 of my 30 different plants across the week, all in one meal. If I did a different meal tonight with 7 in, I'd be nearly halfway to my week of 30 plants in just one day. Right, gorgeous as they all look, let's get cooking. In terms of the ergonomics, I haven't done any of the veg prep yet. I'm just going to get the lentils on so they've had a rinse. They're going into cold water. That's going to go on. I still can't work out the layout of these buttons. Right, I'm going to bring it up to boil. So I'm going to bring it up to the boil from cold. I'm going to let it boil for 10 minutes. Then after 10 minutes, I'm going to turn it down to a simmer. So I've got my phone to hand. So once it's come up to the boil, I'll do the timer for 10 minutes. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is prep my veg, give everything a wash, get it all washed and chopped. So, don't need to set that yet. Keep an ear out for this starting to boil. And then we'll set the timer for 10 minutes. Now for our veg prep. Whatever leaf you're using, kale, you probably won't need to do it with spinach, but certainly with kale and chard. I'm just going to cut out the stalky bits, the ribs. Like I said, I'll keep... On the really smaller ones, you might even find that you can keep some of them. But what we're after is we're just after really lovely tender leaves. Gosh, I've soaked the kitchen in washing them. And like I said, these stalks won't be thrown away. I'll chop them somewhat and just get them whacked into the freezer, and then they can be added, like I said, to something that's a longer, slower cook, because this is quite a quick cook. We're just going to steam these leaves for about 7 minutes. So yeah, the stalks will be really quite tough. Oh, am I coming to the boil? Can I hear the boil? Can we hear the boil? Let's just go and check. Hold on a tick. Yeah. Okay, so that's to the boil now. So let's set the timer for 10 minutes. Oopla. 10:44. Good. Yeah, whatever greens you fancy, but aim for tender stuff. So yeah, I was just saying about the stalks. if they're in a long slow cook, like some sort of stew or bake, I do a chard and bean bake. Oh, I'll tag that onto the end to share with you. And that longer cook just means they've got time to get tender. Don't like the look of the end of the leaf there, that can be discarded. I only want the absolute best inside me today. So I'm just going to make a stack. Beautiful leaves. Run through that end, down to where the stalks were. Pile them both up. And they don't have to be really finely chopped. Maybe 1 centimetre ribbons or so. Obviously with the chopping as well, it's helping with the cooking time. The smaller the pieces, the quicker they're going to cook. Okay, anyway, that's the leaves done. And obviously if you're buying, don't like that leaf either, if you were buying a bag of spinach, for example, I mean, you barely have to do anything to it at all. So that's going to go, I've just got it sitting down here, that's my steamer. Next for the tomatoes, and again, just chopping them. I'll probably, even though these are quite small, I'm quartering them. I'm just going to quarter them because then it spreads them further throughout the dish, so that it's like I was saying with that other salad recently, the artichoke salad. It's just nice to get a bit of everything in each mouthful. Chop as large or small as you want. I mean, a really tiny one like that, I'm just going to chop that in half. And if you've got a really, really tiny cherry tomato, really tiny, then perhaps leave a couple of them whole, because then, oh, that's a lovely surprise. It sort of bursts, all that sweetness bursts out as you chow down on it. So that's pretty much it in terms of the prep. Once that 10 minutes is up, my beans will go in. Yeah, honestly, there's water everywhere from washing the chard. Oh, and it's a good job I did wash it, because I just, there were 2 little teeny tiny baby snails hiding. Yeah, once the 10 minutes boiling is up, then it will go down to a 10-minute simmer, and then I will just add the beans in with the lentil water, so in the bottom, and then I'll stick on top of it, I'll stick this stack that's got the greens and the tomatoes in. Dead easy, and once that's all on, then we can make the dressing. Beautiful, beautiful colours. I'm just going to leave that in the sink for a minute because it's still dripping from where I washed everything. So yeah, I'm going to wait for those lentils to boil, add everything, have a bit of a clean down, get this chard chopped and in the freezer, and then we'll reconvene and we'll make the dressing. Yum, yum, yum. Can't wait. Good, so the first 10 minutes is up. That means I've now added the beans and put the top stack on of the steamer with the greens and tomatoes. I'm just going to keep half an ear on it's supposed to be on a simmer now, but I'm still not quite there with being used to my my electric. Oh, steam trains tooting. I think, is that a bit too hard? Yeah, that's still too hard. Let's turn you down to, oh my goodness, tricky to get used to. Right, dressing. Also, it occurred to me, last couple of bits of chard, I was saying how I'm going to get 7 of my 7 different plants in this meal. That's great. That's a really good total for one meal. Oh, door's just closed itself. Really good total for one meal towards my 30 in the week. Also, what occurred to me is the colours. I do try to think in terms of, eat a rainbow. So I've got pink, red, yellow, green, and, well, brown. Essentially, the lentils will be pretty much brown when they come out. So yeah, not a bad range of colours as well. Okay, so the dressing, I've got 50 mils of lemon juice, my bog standard dressing, 50 mils of olive oil. You don't need to necessarily be quite so prescriptive by way of measuring the amount of oil and lemon juice. I just do it because, as you know, I'm just being a little bit more conscious of the number of calories consumed. And then I've got 3 cloves of garlic that I'm going to just crush them. Don't worry, I always have to mention this because people are horrified when they see me with my knife near the thing. I'm using the back side of my knife, the blunt side. Yeah, garlic, I mean, fantastic antimicrobial properties, great, I mean, I love it all the time anyway, but particularly useful if one is feeling like one has picked up a bit of lurgy from somewhere. Where have I picked up lurgy from? So I am going to add a little bit of just a little pinch of chili flakes. They won't really register too much today with this serving, but of course this dressing is going to go in the fridge. This dressing will do 4 portions. The salad will do 4 portions, and then over the coming days I will continue to have it, and of course the dressing will become more and more infused with that chilli. It's lovely. Now, just to say, let me get in that. Let me get that in. I mean, oh, I haven't put the just hang on. I'm going to bring you back up here a bit. There you are. Let me just pop that chilli in before I emulsify it. Really, it's just a pinch, just a few to your taste. What I've never done with this, I've never tried freezing it. Not the dressing, I'm talking about the salad. I don't know how well it would freeze because of the fresh greens and the tomatoes. I mean, frankly, it doesn't get a chance to be frozen because I love it. I will literally eat this now every day for lunch for the next 4 days, 4 portions. Or, you know, for instance, when Richard and Paul have been here, I've fed it to them. They seem to really enjoy it too. It's a lovely, light, but really satisfying meal. It doesn't look huge, but it is filling because of the beans and the lentils. It's, off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember, with the dressing, it's 268 calories per bowl full. Yeah, I haven't tried freezing it because of that. Yeah, it gets scoffed, but also how's it going to come out with the kale or chard or spinach and the tomatoes? But I was thinking about this earlier and thinking I might try and freeze a little tiny bit of it. I don't want to waste it if it turns out awful. And I was thinking, when it comes out of the freezer, if it's really quite mushy, perhaps what one could do, if there was a portion of it, is you could even maybe add a little bit of tomato paste, a little bit of water maybe to loosen the tomato paste. You know, simmer that for a moment and then have that as a filling for a jacket potato. I think that would be gorgeous, and it would be really filling. In fact, if you have it with a jacket potato, I think 1 portion, you could divide it between 2 of you, each have a jacket potato with that as a filling, so you're going to get the lentils and the beans and that's gorgeousness, but you're going to get your greens and your tomatoes, and with that tomato paste to just thicken up if it's gone a bit sloppy after being frozen. So I need to try and remember to freeze a portion. I'm not sure that I will remember because honestly the state of my head this morning, I can't believe I'm still standing up actually. I really want to just lie down. Anyway, I'm going to give myself some good food, and that's the main thing. So that's got a little while to go. How many minutes has it got? Another 4 minutes. So just to say very quickly now, when the time is up, so we brought the lentils to the boil, and from boiling point, 10 minutes of quite vigorous boiling, turn it down to a simmer for 10 minutes with the stack on top, with the greens and tomatoes on the top. So it's 20 minutes, but there's that little run in until water gets to boiling point, so maybe 23, 24. When we're at that, take it off the heat, Drain the beans and lentils, they're in the bottom bit boiling together. Drain the beans and lentils off, back into the warm pan. The top bit, the greens and tomatoes, chuck it in with the bottom pan and just give it all a really good mix up in there and serve a bowl. And I'll serve a bowl with you all in about 4 minutes. See you then. A quick look in the pan before the camera steams up, so you can see I've just sort of melded everything together, and yeah, right, let's get serving. Can't wait, I'm starving. Oh my goodness, I've gone and done it again. Not pressed record. So I have served myself a bowl up. That's the rest of it, and I've just dressed it. I've used 1.5 tablespoons of the dressing. Really lovely. The dressing, I would say, really, really, really takes this to another level, because a lot of the flavours, it's quite an earthy taste with the lentils and the dark of the greens. It can feel. I'm gonna try it without. The first time I made it, I tried it without, and it's nice, but the dressing takes it to a whole nother level. It's back to that lemon juice thing. It just lifts it, perks all those flavours up, and of course with the garlic, it makes it extra, extra, extra yummy. Right, so let's go and have a sit and a nosh. So you might think this portion looks a little bit stingy. I think that does 4 portions. If you think, you might think it does 3 portions or even 2. Fuff it, it's going to be hot. Oh, it's so lovely. That is comfort in a bowl, Yeah, so serve it up however you want, but with 4 portions and 1.5 tablespoons of the dressing, it's 268 calories. So that's a nice one for lunch for me. And I'm so glad I made it. Like I say at the beginning, it would be the easiest thing in the world would be feeling like this to survive on toast and Marmite or toast and jam. Or, I don't have it in my cupboards, but reach into the cupboard and just eat a packet of biscuits and 3 mugs of tea on the sofa for the afternoon. But yeah, when you're feeling poorly, feeling a bit under the weather, the biggest act of love is making yourself decent food. And this is really decent food. And joy of joys, 3/4 of it came from my garden. It's been a long time since I could say I've made a meal where the majority of the meal has come from my garden. Hallelujah. I didn't get a huge amount of beans, but you know what? Yeah, I got enough to enjoy a few meals. And there's more in the freezer. There's another couple of little trays of cocos in the freezer, and I've got my gigantes in the freezer. I've got a tray of gigantes left. So yeah, hopefully 60 and 20 meals that will have my own beans in. Tomatoes will go on forever. We'll come to that another day. But anyway, in the meantime, I hope you liked that. It's a really simple, lovely recipe. And like I said, any of you who are allotmenteers, or if you've got a small holding, the chances are beans, greens and tomatoes are coming out of your ears on your plots. They should be. They jolly well should be. If you've been putting the time and the effort and the love into your piece of land, you should now be eating pretty much every day from your plot. Yay! We have to buy the lentils, or try growing them like I did one year. I grew them, they were great, they were tasty, they were lovely, but oh my goodness, threshing and winnowing them wasn't worth it. I shouldn't have had another mouthful, I do beg your pardon. After this, I'm going to force myself to do the washing up, or maybe I'll leave it. But I'll certainly divvy out the other portions, pop them in the fridge, and I know that tomorrow, if I'm feeling even worse, I know that there's some lovely food ready for me. And also tonight, probably what I'll do is, from my ready meals department in the freezer, I'll grab a couple of soups and a couple of main meals, some curry, fasolada, whatever, get them out, get them popped in the freezer, and then I know for the next 3 or 4 days that it doesn't matter how grotty I feel, I know that I'm going to eat some fabulously nutritious food and my body will thank me for it, and hopefully my body therefore will be able to fight off whatever this is sooner. All right, until the next one, lovelies. Cheerio.